Good day, folks. It's Tony Fortunato from the technology firm. Let's see if I can run through this relatively quick in one take. So this is how I'm testing I'm going to call it recovery time. The amount of time it takes a device to recover or come back from a reboot or power outage or whatever it happens to be. In most cases, I'm concerned about when there's, you reboot a box or you do some kind of firmware update, how long does it take to come back up? That also translates back to your network management systems. How often is it polling it? If you're not going to poll it, you should find out why, that kind of stuff. So this is going to be pretty quick and easy. So I'm using hrping, which is a free utility from CFOS. I'll put the URL in the article. And basically you download it, you unzip it, and bang, you've got it. End of story. So what I'm going to use here as my victim is this camera, and I'm going to reboot it. So the first thing we're going to do is, after you unzip it, just type hrping. Just to see what options you have available to you, right? That's probably the easiest way to start. We're going to keep this real simple for the people not familiar with it. So I'm going to kind of start from the top. If I was to ping something like this, right? Whoops. Basically, Microsoft will ping every second. That's the interval. You can't change it. So that's a bit of an issue because I'd like to know with more granularity, not within a second, maybe within 100 milliseconds or half a second or 200 milliseconds, that kind of stuff. So 1 second is a bit too smooth for me, but if you want to use the Microsoft ping, everything I'm going to show you right now will work with the Microsoft ping as well. But I'd like to use hrping. So if I was to simply pull up that last command and put the word HR in front of it and hit enter, it actually looks like it's quicker because it is. The default is 500 milliseconds. Now this is kind of interesting. It says attempt was made to access socket, blah, 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 access permissions. Sometimes you need to make sure that you're running this as administrator, right? I'm choosing not to because even if it doesn't, it still works. Now, this is kind of important. You can see here with its ping times, it's kind of all over the map, right? And there's a lot of reasons. We're not going to get into why. The point is, if you were to ping it at a certain interval, you don't want to exceed this number. So you don't want to do every millisecond, every 2 milliseconds, that kind of stuff. That's kind of defeating the purpose. So take whatever numbers you have. I strongly encourage you to do more than the 3 or 4 or 5 that some tools give you by default. I would encourage you to send about 100 or so. And then look at the average, right? The high, the low, the average. Pick a good number, right? Some people just jump to the high to kind of cover themselves, a little buffer. That's fine. I'm going to use 200 milliseconds as my example. So I'm going to bring out that hrping command again. And if I do -s200, that means it's going to ping it every 200 milliseconds. So enter, and there you go. See? So this is kind of step by step how you're doing this. I'm building the command as we go along. The next thing you're going to want to do is probably not have a finite number of pings, right? You want to make sure it just pings forever. And you'll find out why in a moment. So if I do the, whoops, wrong T, this one, lowercase t will ping forever. And then basically you just do Control C, Control break, and you stop it. Now I erroneously used the uppercase T, which we are going to use. So I'll do that now, just so you can see what the difference is. And you can see it puts the date and the time, because I want that as well. So hrping, just a quick review, the IP address or target or name or whatever, -s200 for 200 milliseconds. Lowercase t means don't time out until I break it. And -uppercase T or capital T is going to give us the date and time. Awesome. So the thing I want to do is test how this thing gives me an error. So as I'm pinging it, I'm going to go back to my camera and I'm going to hit reboot. This is kind of my test. So as it reboots, we'll go back over here to the ping, and we want to see what hrping or Microsoft ping or whatever command line utility you decide to use, what does it give you when there's an error, right? What is the timeout? What does it actually say? And there you go. So it says timeout waiting for, and then the ICMP sequence number, which is fine. So this is the key. The key is I want this error message. Timeout or timeout waiting, either will work. And now this is the fun part. So I'm going to basically pull up that last command, hrping, the IP address, -s200 for 200 milliseconds, -t for don't time out, and -uppercase T for the time. I'm going to add people call it the bar, some people call it the pipe. And then basically I'm going to add the word find, space, double quote, and the word timeout, just as you saw it, exactly as you saw it on the screen. So this is a capital T, timeout. See that? So I'm going to hit enter. And now it's looking through all of the ping responses and it's only showing me the timeout. See that? So as the camera is rebooting in this case, it keeps saying timeout, timeout, timeout. And now you see that? It stopped. Why? Because the camera's back online again. Right? So this is kind of the key to the whole thing. So whatever you're going to reboot or reset or unplug or whatever, however you want to test this thing, you're going to use that HR ping with that bar, find timeout. And that's going to record it for you. For the people that like this to go to a log, HR ping does have a log feature if you'd like. You can also do a greater than and redirect it to a text file, test.txt. The only thing with that, you will not see any output. So you'd have to run a secondary prompt to ping it to know when it comes back up. I'm happy with just this. Okay. So I'm going to hit enter on that. Nothing's coming back. Why? Because it's up, right? Going to go back to the camera. Log in. And again, this works with anything. Phone, camera, router, switch. Obviously, if you have production gear, you're not going to do this in the middle of the day, right? You're going to do this on a bench or during a maintenance window or whatever, right? You don't want to pull up the carpet from everybody's feet. I'm going to go back to my settings screen. This is maintenance and then reboot. Yep, go. Back to the command prompt. You'll see it's just sitting there, right? Why? Because it's not rebooting yet. And then as soon as it starts rebooting, it'll record the date and the time. When it's, there you go, see? So I know when it started, okay, when the timer started, so to speak, like a stopwatch, and then I'll also know when it's done, and simply subtract the two times. So in the write-up, you'll see I've done some examples of router, switch, phone, camera, all the basic stuff, server, that you probably want to know. And this is really important when you're working remotely, because I'm telling you right now, if you've never been through this before, when you're troubleshooting remotely, it seems like it takes forever. But if you have no reference of time, like it should take a minute or 2 minutes, you will start freaking out and start changing other stuff and start digging the hole even deeper. All right, folks? Have a good day. Bye for now.